Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. Doing something a little bit different, man. Dropping this track. Verb T, Micall Parknsun, Verified, dropping it at the exact same time as they're dropping their track, man. T reached out to me, asked me if I'd be up for doing that. How can you say no, man? The dad of the 4 owls. And when he asks you to do, when he asks you to check out a track, man, and do that for him. So I'm excited for this. It's been a while since we've had some Verb T on the channel. Not so much Parky because we had him yesterday. So let's jump in, man. Let's see what they got for us.
Self-caricature, felt married, divorced from all reality, never saw with clarity, muscles froze, some sort of atrophy, my mind floats intergalactically, was caught up in a tractor beam, then fell into a forest where I splash in streams. You backed the team, but then the players left, no regrets, so they slept easy like the Grateful Dead, saying less, meaning more. It's clear what I'm leaning towards, deep in thought, lost in time, crossing lines, overstepping, over reckless.
Nice, man. Crossing lines, overstepping. And interesting, I'm trying to put into words, man, how that have trust but verify. That's sitting with me, man, and it has me thinking a certain way, but I'm a true believer, man, that I try to trust everybody until they don't give me a reason, or until they give me a reason not to trust them, right? And I kind of think maybe that's what T is saying with this, is because he even says, man, you backed the team, but then the players left, man, and hey, they couldn't give a shit, so they had no trouble putting their head down and sleeping, man. And I always say that to Vanessa, is because she'll be talking to me when we first go to bed. She'll be talking, and I'll be out like a light, and she's like, you fell asleep in the middle of a conversation last night. I mean, you know what? But as a wife, you should be happy, because a man that falls asleep has a clear conscience. Not to sleep. It's like I hit the pillow, man. I'm gone. That's what he's saying, man. These people who you believe are part of the team, people that you believe that are friends, they can stab you in the back and sleep no problem, man. Sleep like the Grateful Dead the next day. And I have no trouble doing that, man. So that goes right back to that, trust cats, but sometimes blind trust can lead you down some shitty roads, man. Big up Parky on this production. Second one in a row, like I said. He did that beat for Luna's track. Same type of laid back, smooth, just nice sound, man. Crisp drums on this one too. Digging that. Interesting style that Verb T's given us here too. Very, very laid back and different from what I'm used to, but introspective, man.
Was caught up in a tractor beam, then fell into a forest where I splash in streams. You backed the team, but then the players left, no regrets, so they slept easy like the Grateful Dead, saying less, meaning more. It's clear what I'm leaning towards, deep in thought, lost in time, crossing lines, overstepping, over reckless, looking for the fix but don't expect it, so defective, oh no possessions, a whole load of questions. So
sorry, bro, I'm gonna bring this back a little bit here. A couple things. Yeah, man, looking for the solution and looking for the fix, looking for the right path, man, but having that belief that you're never going to find it, it's like kind of sabotaging yourself. It's that glass half empty type of mentality, man, pessimistic. Because sometimes when you're in a headspace, man, you get in that dark headspace and you feel like nothing can possibly go your way. Everything goes against you. If you have it, if you have any luck, it's bad luck. The other thing he says here that I meant to mention the first time I paused it was about that. Um, but speaking less but saying more type of thing, man. And I go by that. You couldn't tell on this channel. I talk entirely too much on the channel, and I apologize. I pause too much. I talk too much. Um, but yeah, man. In my day-to-day life, my work life, my relationships, uh, I try to have that idea of having your 2 ears and one mouth, and you should be listening twice as much as you're talking. And I truly do believe that if you have something worth saying, then say it. If you don't, then just keep your damn mouth shut. That's the way I live, man. You can live your life the way you want. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the way I do it is, unless I have something of value to add to a conversation, add to a meeting at work, add to a family issue, whatever. If I don't have what I believe is to be a solution or a helpful suggestion, then I just sit back, man, because a lot of people, a lot of cats just speak to hear themselves speak, man. Um, yeah, I wanted to catch that the first time, and I knew I forgot one of it, and that's the one.
Towards deep in thought, lost in time, crossing lines, overstepping, over reckless. Looking for the fix, but don't expect it. So defective. Oh, no possessions. A whole load of questions. Solo progression, no reliance. But hope alliances form. Don't confide in the source you don't know you can trust. Waiting to verify terabytes of memory times that left you terrified. Essentially covered in a hard shell. I cast spells to redesign and free the mind. Joints creaky like the floorboard. I've been at times distant. I've been at times present. Flying lessons. Thought of time invested. Alarm screaming, get the fuck up on some Simon Says shit. Life is precious and quite neglected all too often. I froze the lake and walked upon it. Jumped into the sea and threw a storm across it. Wish I would have picked a more boring option. Logic didn't work, so you resort to oddness. The report was obsessed.
Nice, man. Is he kind of getting at that fact that, because he's saying he threw the storm across it, so is he getting at that fact that, because he said I should have picked a better option, or like calmer seas, man, or a more boring option is what he said. So he's basically saying, man, like I'm responsible for some of the madness has taken place in my life, the decisions I've made, the times I've overreacted, the times I've said shit, did shit, reacted poorly, and I've been seeing a lot of that lately, man, with just sitting back and watching the way that people react to certain things, and knowing that there's a better way of handling it, knowing that if someone was just to take half a second to really think and have a perspective on it before they react and say things and do things and cause that storm, man. And because it's one of those things, is like T's saying, man, once that storm is thrown across those seas, man, you can only wish at that point that you had picked a calmer option, man, or a more boring option. The storm is there now, man. You got to live through that shit.
The floorboard, I've been at times distant, I've been at times present. Flying lessons, thought of time invested. Alarm screaming, get the fuck up on some Simon Says shit. Life is precious and quite.
Sorry, you could tell a car's coming. We're used to that in Canada, man, because we used to play as a kid, playing road hockey out on the road. We'd bring the nets out, and then you'd be playing, and you have to yell car and move the nets out of the way, and everyone would lean on their sticks and wait for the cars to go by and drag the nets back out. I don't know if you cats do that with footy and stuff like that, man. If you had like some makeshift nets and shit. We didn't have much money growing up. My brother cobbled together. I wanted to be a goalie. My brother cobbled together a hockey net, and using like old 2x4s, because there's a lot of construction sites around our house where like our subdivision was one of the first ones built in the neighborhood. So my brother would like cobble together some old lumber and shit that he'd find at these construction sites and use my dad's tools and extra nails, nail that shit together. And my mom used to work at the hospital, and when they would use the sheets a certain amount of times and then they would throw them out, but they'd say staff could take them. But they're really not good for much other than for painting or cleaning up and shit like that. So my mom would bring those home, and my brother took those old sheets and he nailed those to the wood frame of this goalie net, man. So I had this goalie net that probably weighed about 150 pounds. And being like a little kid trying to drag this fucking wooden net out into the street. Oh, Jesus. Oh, good times, man. It makes me laugh. It's a little smile on his face. Where is it? Right there. Yeah, car's coming, man. Get the fuck off the road. All right.
Flying lessons, thought of time invested. Alarm screaming, get the fuck up on some Simon Says shit. Life is precious and quite neglected all too often. I froze the lake and walked upon it, jumped into the sea and threw a storm across it. Wish I would have picked a more boring option. Logic didn't work, so you resort to oddness. The report was obsessed, but the reality was couldn't care less. Things that don't matter, blown out of proportion on account of distortion. I feel like my mind was pulled by some powerful forces. Moving like a clown with a hornet, stuck on the inside of the clothing, worn away like tidal erosion, type of emotion in a spiraling motion. Now we're spiraling up, life in the clutch, like don't confide in the source you don't know you can trust. Waiting to verify terabytes of memory times that left you terrified, essentially covered in a hard shell. I cast spells to redesign and free the mind. Don't confide in a source you don't know you can trust. Waiting to verify terabytes of memory times that left you terrified, essentially covered in a hard shell. I cast spells to redesign and free the mind.
Hey man, it has this track kind of feels like it's some personal shit, man. It's always hard to tell when an artist puts a track out like this if it's just kind of like using some old, some old pain, some old situations or whatever, to kind of to be that fuel for a song. This kind of has this little bit of it feels like a very personal song, perhaps something that Verb has been going through recently, so some family stuff or personal stuff with some other cats or whatever, man. But yeah, it has that real introspective, honest, true feeling to this. Yeah, man. I always say when it comes to Verb T, I always walk away from his tracks feeling like it's time for me to look in the mirror a little bit and then do some introspective of myself, on myself. It's funny too, going to that part where he talked about like shit being blown out of proportion because of some distortion, right? And I think that's often going back to what I was saying about seeing shit that is just, if people just took a moment to have a little bit of perspective to a situation rather than reacting, we wouldn't have a lot of these things that I've seen happen. It's just like a lot of assumptions, a lot of distortion, right? kind of like the way we view the world and the way that we view situations. Sometimes, the difference of the rose-colored glasses, rather than that, is like the glass is cracked or smudged, and it's because of that distortion. You see shit the wrong way, and you react poorly because of the way you're looking at it and your perspective on it, instead of what's truly happening. But yeah, man, a really deep song, and a couple times too where he says about like kind of makes me feel like he's talking about be careful who you confide in. Like, I think that's what it says. Like, basically, if you're gonna it reminds me of something like he poured his heart out to someone, and then that person ended up fucking him, right? Using what he said against him, or telling somebody what he said, or any of those numbers of things, man, that people can do to each other. And that's what he's saying, man. Be careful who you give your trust to, careful who you confide in, man. But yeah, good track, man, and big up Verb T and Parky. Appreciate you asking me to do this and putting it out at the same time. If you're watching this first, please go over and watch it on Verb T's channel, and give it a watch, give it a listen, man, and buy this record when it comes out and show them some love. And I love you guys, man, each and every day. And until next time, stay safe. Be good to each other.